here, you get the little chair.
I've been looking for this damn thing. It's right there. You should keep about 4.
All right, I'd like to call the June 11, 2018 Village Board meeting to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Trustee Kwasniewski?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. This evening we'll be starting with Trustee Kwasniewski.
Here.
Maher absent. McClafferty.
Here.
Snagowski.
Here.
Stapleton.
Here.
Blatzer. Here.
Okay, great. Next up is our consent agenda. First off, it will include the approval of minutes from our May 14, 2018 meetings, both the Village Board meeting as well as the Committee of Whole meeting minutes. In addition, on the consent agenda, we have approval of disbursements, a resolution approving a highway authority agreement with BOI LLC. We also have a resolution authorizing the reduction of a letter of credit for the Derby Pines subdivision. We also have a resolution authorizing the voluntary employment separation program for village employees. We also have a resolution approving voluntary separation agreement and release, which is related to that separation program. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Trustee McClafferty, seconded by Trustee Blatzer. Any questions or comments on the various items on the consent agenda? Okay, all right. Roll call then, please.
Kwasniewski.
Yes.
Maher absent. McClafferty.
Yes.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Blatzer.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. All right, next up is the mayor's report. We have a couple of items to highlight, as always, and then also want to give an update on some outstanding litigation. But before I get to that, let's talk about what's going on around town. We have several things. Summertime, fun time in the summer, as always. Wednesday nights are cruise nights. Every Wednesday from 6 to 9 p.m. in downtown Lamont. In conjunction with the cruise nights, we have the Artisan Market. Our first one will begin in conjunction with the cruise night this Wednesday from 4 to 7 p.m. at Legion's Park, which is right across from the train station. M&D Farms will be there, and a few other vendors will be selling food and products. Please visit the website www.lamontchamber.com for more information. In addition, during the summertime on Thursday nights, the Park District and Village sponsored Sunset Soirees in downtown Lamont begins this Thursday. Seating opens at 6 p.m. and the band rendition will begin playing at 7 p.m. The season schedule can be found on the Village and Park District's websites. You could visit www.lamontparkdistrict.org or www.lamont.il.us. In addition, the Park District's Pack the Park outdoor movie series begins on Tuesday, June 19th at Covington North Park, beginning at 7 p.m. With fun and games, free hot dogs, and the Wonder Woman movie beginning after sunset. So be sure to check that out. Lamont Center for the Arts, floral photo exhibit. The Burst of Spring by award-winning Lamont Artists Guild member Gene Mark has been extended through August 26th at the Lamont Center for Arts. In addition, artist Francesca Vitelli will be at the Art Center Wednesdays and Sundays from June 20th through August 22nd. She will be creating her works of art live and in person. Please visit the Lamont Center for the Arts Facebook page for additional information. Also, our next Village Board meeting will be on July 23rd, so in the meantime, please check our Village website's community calendar for many more events taking place around town. In addition, please sign up for our website for our electronic notification system, quote-unquote, stay informed, to receive notifications of events and other pertinent information regarding the various activities happening around town. So that wraps up what's going on. Like I mentioned, I have a write-up here I'd like to share with everyone regarding the outstanding litigation lawsuit with the Cook County State's Attorney. The Cook County State's Attorney lawsuit against the Village of Lamont involves 17 individual properties. If you recall, in July of 2016, the Cook County State's Attorney filed a lawsuit directed to remove certain territory from the village and placed into Cook County's unincorporated jurisdiction. So just to clarify, there are 17 properties that are currently annexed into Lamont. This lawsuit would actually reverse that and de-annex those 17 properties out of Lamont and into Cook County unincorporated. The lawsuit mirrored a similar lawsuit filed previously by the Village of Palos Park, of which the village was able to prevail. We were able to prevail in that case against Palos Park. The active lawsuit includes several properties along Bell Road and residential properties, including a couple of subdivisions, the Glens of Connemara, Kettering Estates, and the Enclave at Kettering. Also Red Drive subdivision and the new Equestrian Meadows subdivision. In addition, the other properties include a church, one of our Lamont fire stations, our high school our high school athletic fields located on 131st and Bell, as well as our grade school District 113A property, which is being held for possible future growth. That's on 131st near Derby as well. This lawsuit is currently ongoing. We had a meeting in the month of May with various residents in these subdivisions and property owners which are directly affected by the lawsuit to provide them an update and to assure them that Lamont is 100% behind supporting them into staying in Lamont. All 17 property have been identified in the lawsuit. However, the individual residents that live in these various subdivisions have not been identified in the lawsuit. We are still trying to understand why the state's attorney has filed this case and what public good does it serve if they do reverse it. We still do not have any answers to such questions. During our meeting in the month of May, we explained to the residents and the property owners what effect would be if these properties were de-annexed out of the village. The infrastructure potentially affected obviously includes both our water systems as well as our sewer systems. The police and public works services, if these properties were de-annexed out, would no longer be provided by the village. And obviously some other entity would have to pick up these services, whether it be the township or Cook County. Our county president, Preckwinkle, and the Cook County Board, they have stated over time that obviously they want to eliminate unincorporated areas and property from the county. So again, this makes this case even more puzzling because we're going the opposite. We're actually creating more unincorporated property. Related specific to this case, there was a recent court hearing on May 23rd in which several property owners and residents attended. We had that meeting in May prior to this just to alert them to this. The judge at this hearing continued the hearing to the end of July. At that hearing, we expect the judge to make a ruling on a portion of our defenses and also set the case schedule for the schedule for the remainder of the case. Do we have a specific date in July of when that is?
Yeah, I think I have July 27th. Is that correct, Andrew?
Yeah, yeah, that's right, July 27th.
So again, the next hearing is set for July 27th. Of course, we will continue to provide information. We will also highlight it in our village newsletter coming up. So again, stay tuned, and we will also include updates on the website as well. So with that being said, next up is our audience participation. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to come up and say a few words? Okay, I think we're good there. So that wraps up the mayor's report. Moving on, the clerk's report.
Thank you. I attended the International Institute of Municipal Clerks on May 19th through the 24th, as well as the Southwest Municipal Clerks meeting in Palace Park last Thursday. The first ordinance, if passed this evening, would be O-22-18, and this is amending the budget for the fiscal year 17-18 for the Village of Lamont.
Okay, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Kwasniewski. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is our fiscal year ended on April 30th, 2018. This is the fourth quarter and the final budget amendment to account for any changes, various accruals. We did have a debt service funding refunding that occurred, so we had to we had to change the expenditures and the revenues as well to account for that refunding, which saved the village money. So basically, this is just a cleanup at the end of the year, the final budget amendment. We did do as well, we closed out 2 funds and to eliminate how many funds we have. Just to, it's a good accounting rule to look at all your funds to see if there's activity, and if not, just to close them out. So this is the final one, and I am happy to say that we are, we're 99% of our budget, and the departments have done a phenomenal job by cutting expenditures at the end of the year. So we will be ending the year with revenues over expenditures, a balanced budget, maybe $2,000 or $3,000 extra.
Okay, great, Chris. Any other comments or questions for Chris? Before we have a roll call, just want to, reiterate, again, Chris, appreciate, the timeliness and the accurate of the financials, and, do a phenomenal job there. And also just want to reiterate, we, from an expense standpoint, we were $1 million short. We were able to make our budget actually balanced by, making cuts. And again, just to reiterate what we've talked about over the last year, our expenses are rising, but it's not due to headcounts. Our headcounts are actually going down. We have inputs related to pensions as well as healthcare, as well as sales tax revenues that are going down. That is what's driving these shortfalls. So again, Chris, appreciate your hard work on this and working with everyone and the board as well, as far as making ends meet. Obviously, we will have a balanced budget, and last year we came in sounded like a couple $1,000s over. So again, appreciate that. So with that being said, any other comments, questions? Go ahead.
No, I'll just make a quick note. Thank you, Chris, and the department has did a really good job of, even though you go through the budget process, you're able to project revenues, project expenditures, but even during that that period, that reporting period or operational period, revenues continue to decline that maybe we didn't expect, and so that's why it was really important for the department heads to come together, recommend some areas to cut. One area that we're always a little bit iffy on as we enter the budget year is the local government distributive fund, which is the state shared income tax that the state of Illinois allocates to municipalities. Once again, that was cut by the state legislature this year 5%. So that's one area that does fluctuate from year to year. We don't know exactly what revenues we're going to get from year to year when the state passes their budget. And in the last few years, they went without a budget. This year, they were able to pass a budget. But we did see a 5% cut in the LGDF. And then another area that's a little bit volatile is our sales tax. With the Amazon effect, online, purchasing effect, we're seeing that dip down a little bit, or at least stay flat. trying to do some things locally with incentive agreements, as we'll talk about with our next item with the market on state, to try to bring that number back up locally. There's some things we can do locally, but again, we're subject to some of those definitely issues that are happening statewide. But the LGDF is a big one. We saw another 5% cut, but I think we projected the budget for 10%. So we're being conservative with our estimates, and we'll be ready for what the state does to us, but it's definitely a difficult way to manage when you don't have complete certainty of what's happening from a state level. So again, thank you to the board and to staff for keeping the expenditures down, but also conservative budgeting, which helps us moving forward. Thank you.
Okay. All right, can we have a roll call, please?
Kwasniewski.
Yes.
Maher absent. McClafferty.
Yes.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Blatzer.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next ordinance, if passed this evening, would be O-23-18, and this is approving an economic incentive agreement between the Village of Lamont and Market on State Incorporated, an Illinois corporation. That's at 1100 State Street.
Okay, we need a motion.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Blatzer. Jason?
It's like a drop the mic moment, right? Where you get to say it finally happened. So we've been working with Stephanie Dramonis of Pete's Market since July. She came and presented to the Committee of the Whole in October, and we've been working with GK Development as well on crafting an agreement. We have one here before you. It's a 50% sales tax share. The village keeps 50%. We share 50% with Market on State. This is their new small format concept. The agreement is good for up to 10 years. And the improvements they're investing into the property is over $6 million, and as well as hiring 100 folks as well. So a really good deal and catalytic for the that whole stretch of State Street.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and Jason, kudos to you and George and Glenn as well. You guys have done an outstanding job working on that. This is exciting. We get another grocer in town, but more importantly, this is, an anchor type of tenant. It's going to add value to the town. They have an investment. We have a $1.2 million incentive. However, this is only subsidizing a fraction of what they're putting in. They have a $6.2 million investment. Is that correct? Correct. So they're going to rehab the entire thing, new refrigeration, new shelving, a new actual build-out of the front of it as well. They're going to modernize it. It's going to be very exciting. And again, it's just, I commend everyone on the board. This is what can happen when, I think public and the private world get together, because they were not going to come back into town or come into town unless we were able to, help them out in some shape or form. And again, we appreciate, the parent company, Pete's Fresh, as well. So very excited for that. Anyone else have any other comments, questions?
We're expecting April, because it says the date was certificate of occupancy for April, so we think by then they should be able to do it.
Yeah, we have a couple clawbacks in there just to protect ourselves. So we've already met with them, myself, Community Development Manager Mark Herman, met with Pete. So we've seen the drawings, the floor plans, and they expect to have that sometime to us in July and get started and be open in the first quarter of 2019.
Yeah, that'll be great.
And they're incentivized to be open by March 31st of 2019, correct?
April 1st, yeah.
Or I'm sorry, April 1st, right.
No
Okay.
joke.
You just bought them a day.
Tough negotiators, right?
1.2.
So, anyone else? Okay, roll call, please.
Kwasniewski.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Blatzer.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next item this evening, if passed, would be O-24-18, amending the zoning map of the Village of Lamont from B3 Arterial Commercial District to R5 Single Family Detached Residential District at 127th Street and Rolling Meadows Drive in Lamont.
Okay, need a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Snagowski. Jason?
Thank you. New Horizon Homes first presented a plan to the PZC in January of this year for a single-family home cul-de-sac off of Rolling Meadows Drive as part of the Rolling Meadows Phase 4. There's concerns from the PZC and the Committee of the Whole in February. To their credit, the Jurniks went back to the drawing board and came forward with the plan to the PZC that everybody really liked. It mixes duplexes on the north side and single-family homes on the south side. Importantly, no variations, which was some of the direction from the board. So right now, we're just seeking a rezoning. It was recommended unanimously by the PZC for approval.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Debbie?
Just a comment. I just wanted to thank the developers, because that's great that you guys went back to the drawing board and came with this, because this is something that I am very comfortable supporting, and you guys did a great job with it. It's got the extra connection. It's not just a cul-de-sac, and I think it's going to, of course, our dream was commercial there, but obviously that hasn't panned out, and with no access to 127th, it's just not practical. So I think this is a great compromise, and what you did is going to look great. So I appreciate the effort you put into it.
Great. I'll hold my comment until after the vote. So can we have a roll call, please?
Kwasniewski.
Yes.
Maher absent. McClafferty.
Yes.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Blatzer.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. Now, again, no, we're very excited to have more development in town. You guys have done a very, a high quality in the past. We expect it in the future. We're very excited for it. We commend you guys going back to the drawing board, continuing to work on it. So wish you guys the best of luck, and thanks again for continued development in Lamont and continued, adding value to the town. So we appreciate it. All right, next up.
Okay. The next item would be an ordinance also, and it would be O-25-18 of the Village of Lamont, Cook, Will, and DuPage Counties, Illinois, to set a date for and to approve a public notice of a public hearing on the transit-oriented development, the TOD redevelopment project area.
Okay, need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Blatzer. Jason, again.
Thank you. So the TOD TIF is centered around the metro station and along Main Street in Illinois. It largely replaces the downtown TIF, which expired in 2014. The purpose there is to help expand redevelopment efforts in the downtown, principally the current Peterson's hardware store, which is a prime site for transit-oriented or multifamily development, as well as some other initiatives in the downtown. If this passes, we'll have a joint review board meeting in July. The public hearing will be August 13th, and if approved, the TIF could be finalized by the end of August.
Awesome. Any other comments or questions? Okay, thanks, Jason. Okay, roll call, please.
Kwasniewski.
Yes.
Maher absent. McClafferty.
Yes.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Blatzer.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next item is going to be a resolution, if passed this evening, R-26-18, and this is authorizing the award of a contract for Metro Station renovation, Project A.
Okay, need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Blatzer, seconded by trustee Kwasniewski. Ralph?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I feel like this is another drop the mic moment because it's been going on for so long. So we can say it's going to happen. So this is the Metro Station rehab that we've been working with Metro on and CN Railroad. Last year in August, the village entered into an intergovernmental agreement with Metro to do this project. This project is going to remodel the Metro Station, restrooms, flooring, heating, air, windows, the whole shebang. So what we did was we put it out to bid. The bids came in high last year. We had to go back to Metro to amend the intergovernmental agreement, and we did that in June of this year. And Metro agreed, and they will be paying for the whole project. So Project A is the Metro Station itself. Again, the restrooms, the flooring, and the low bidder was R.C. Wegman out of Aurora. There were 3 companies that bid on the job, and they were at $238,000 to complete that project. And staff recommendation is to award the contract to R.C. Wegman out of Aurora for $238,000.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, so for the first of 2 projects at $238,000, can we have a roll call, please?
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher absent, McClafferty,
Yes.
Stigowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Blatzer.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Now, who was the motion by? Did we,
Me and
okay, great, we're done. Okay.
We need Project B, though. We need
Yes.
to have,
Resolution R-2718-18, if it's passed this evening, is authorizing the award of the contract for the Metro Station renovation, Project D.
and again, this is for how much, Ralph?
This is for $148,000 for RC Wegman out of Aurora. They will be installing new heaters, fixing a lot of the stonework that's on that shelter, and adding wind barrier windows where the people, don't have to stand open in the wind like they do now. So staff recommendation is to give the contract to RC Wegman out of Aurora for $148,000.
Okay, great. All right.
Is this one also 100% picked up by Metra?
It is, yes.
Thanks, Ralph.
Yes.
Right, great. Anyone else? Okay, roll call, please.
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher absent, McClafferty,
Yes.
Stigowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Blatzer.
yes.
All right, awesome. Thanks again, Ralph, for getting that to the finish line. All right, next up, Village Attorney Report. Andrew.
You covered the
anything?
litigation in your report, so nothing.
Okay.
to report, Mr. Mayor.
All right, George, Administrator Report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a few intergovernmental updates and related updates for the board and the community. First off, I just want to thank Ralph and on coordinating that Metro project and thank Metra for all their support with that project, not only on the funding, 100% paid for, no local match, but just hanging in there with this project. We had a couple difficult bids last year. Last year it got late in the year, so we had to rebid it. It is a difficult project. There's, you have the constant coordination with the railroad for safety reasons. So I want to thank Metra for all their support. They were really good to work with, and looking forward to get that project going. So thanks, Ralph, and Metra's been great to work with. Just want to get that message out. A couple other, some of the hot button topics I still get periodically are questions about whether it be the tollway sound wall, the quiet zone. One thing we're going to be doing with our newsletter this month is that we're going to start off kind of putting together these hot button topics, the questions that maybe you guys all get in the grocery store, or maybe we get here at Village Hall, is try to put together soundbite answers to some of these questions at every newsletter and then put them on our website. So this will be our first go at it for the July newsletter that's going to be coming out. Kind of give everybody a sneak peek though. Quiet zone, I still get many complaints about the train horns through town, especially if you live in the downtown or even further uptown. You do hear it. Couple things going on with that. One, the village has been working with its neighbors, Lockport, Romeoville, for the last 3 or 4 years on a joint study to kind of look at the quiet zone issue. We've since broke off from Lockport and Romeoville, no issues. It's just they have a little bit different scope, so we're all going to look at it on our own for a little while. And a couple of things with it. The village looked at it in 15 with the entities, and there was about a $1.25 million price tag on that project to quiet the horns from their horn to maybe a quieter horn or no horn at all, like you see in other communities. The reason why the village has 5 public crossings through town and several other private crossings. So each crossing it comes with a certain amount of risk and safety calculations, and basically we have to make a certain amount of improvements to many of the crossings to meet the threshold for the feds to give us our quiet zone. So there is some significant dollars associated with quieting the horns in town. We're working on it, and last time we looked at it was about $1.25 million. One thing that's going to change the calculations a little bit, there's a new crossing being proposed at Walker and Main Street as part of the Forge property, or Forge project adjacent to the quarry area, kind of an exciting outdoor recreation park that's going to be coming through the process here soon. That'll do 2 things. That will actually help us with our calculations, maybe bring our number down a little bit. So we're looking forward to that because that'll be a fully improved crossing. But what it does do, it's probably going to push it out a little bit more. We can't update our study until we see the plans for that crossing project. So bear with us a little bit. We're working on it, and we're hopeful that that project will actually reduce the cost and the scope of our quiet zone project. Kind of related, we had I think a couple weeks ago, there was a loud horn at about 5 in the morning. It was not the train.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah, it was about 5 in the morning. A horn went off. That was actually, we worked with, that was not the train. We worked with Citgo to understand a little bit. It was a maintenance issue, but we'll work with them to not do that at 5 in the morning, right? Maybe later on in the day. No, I think that was not train related. The one thing The trains have been louder than usual. If you live near town, you probably could attest to that. We reached out to our external affair rep at Canadian National. Canadian National owns the track through town, the main track that Metro runs on. They were doing maintenance on the tracks, which did require a little bit more of a safety presence from the train conductors. We're told that'll come down a little bit. So that was not full time. That was a little bit of an anomaly. If you do hear, train noise that's a little bit out of the ordinary, call Village Hall. Maybe we can call our contact. That's why we have these partnerships, and they can explain it and maybe bring that noise down a little bit. But we're working on it, and we'll update everybody in the newsletter as well. A couple things, the sound wall, I do hear from, or the mitigation project from Briarcliff subdivision. For years, it's been going on since the tollway went up. Complaints about noise mitigation and perhaps the tollway putting in the improvements of the interchange, but no sound mitigation. The tollway is working with us. They've been great to work with the last 6 months or so. We've gotten some legislative support on that project. They are going to come and work with us on doing some noise mitigation for Briarcliff subdivision. So we're excited about that, where the village won't have to come out of pocket. We're going to talk a little bit more at a committee level here soon to talk about what that agreement may mean, but just want to get that word out, and we're coordinating with the residents of Briarcliff to kind of get everybody together to talk about it. But good news that we're getting some support from our intergovernmental partners at the tollway. More intergovernmental updates, and I don't know if Chief was going to mention it. Maybe he can piggyback on a little bit. People don't realize that, not everyone realizes that several of our thoroughfares through town, whether it be Archer Avenue, parts of State Street, Main Street, 131st, 127th Street, are not village roads. They're actually maintained and owned by another entity. Archer and most of parts of State Street are state highways, right? 131st, 127th are county highways. If we're going to get any improvements on those, thoroughfares, we don't have the authority to put them in ourselves, and it really requires us to engage our partners and move things along. And we've done that with Archer down by Target Coal, working with IDOT. But a couple, real interesting projects is that we've been reaching out to an engineer for the Cook County Highway Department, who is going to look at, they're going to study several of our thoroughfares through town that are county highways, which is really good news. And I just want to mention that the county highway department's been very good to work with the last month or so. They're going to be looking at 127th Street, looking for potential pedestrian connectivity over at Briarcliff. They're going to be looking at congestion over at River Valley School. They're going to be looking at Covington and Chestnut. Some of the truck traffic issues that we've been seeing on our 27th Street, they're going to look at 131st Street. We've reached out actually on that one. Parker, I'll start with Derby. Derby's always been a difficult sight line, and we're having them look at that project. They're also going to look at the traffic counts out at Parker, which is important when we talk about the development at Willow Point that Beechin and Dill's coming in with. That was a concern of many residents, was traffic. And then they're also going to be looking at the area in front of the high school, the athletic fields, which, as the mayor mentioned, I mean, these are good projects, and it's right in front of some of these areas that the county state's attorney is trying to take out of Lamont. So we're getting cooperation on one side, maybe not on the other, but it's good to see the county stepping up and really working with us. I know, Chief, they reached out to you and asked us what are our issues with these different intersections, and they're going to do a full study, and when that is ready, we'll share that with the community. But so those are some of the things that we're working on. Real quick, I don't know if we mentioned it last meeting, the mayor and I met with the coordinators of the Keepataw Day Parade. I don't know if we mentioned this on our Facebook yet, but they are taking a year off from the parade, and I just want to get that really just, they're going to regroup a little bit, look at it for next year, but with the time crunch coming up here, up into Labor Day, when they typically have the parade, they're not going to be able to get the thing going. So we're going to work with them to potentially bring it back next year, but I do get a couple questions on the Keepataw Day Parade. Is it coming back? And we had a good meeting, and I think they're ready.
Yeah, and I think, they made it pretty clear, we tried encouraging them or what could we do to make it happen. They, it's unfortunate timing-wise, they're not going to be able to make it work, but they reiterated, hey, this is a 1 year off type of thing and not, something permanent. So again, I know I've received a couple of questions on this, but again, going back to what George said, in the newsletter, there are common questions we hear over and over, like, why don't we have more train runs downtown? Those sort of questions. So we're going to get a Q&A, and we encourage you know, all the residents' input on additional type of Q&As on a go-forward basis. So again, you know, look forward to getting those updates out.
Yeah, and before I turn it over, I did have one kind of a fun one here, and then I don't think he knows I'm going to mention this, but Bill Ertman, he's our Channel 6 volunteer. You don't see him ever because he's behind the camera, but on August 3rd of 1983, the Video Access League was officially formed, and they tape all the village board meetings. They go to, they tape the fire district meetings. They tape, you know, if the Keep It Top parade, they'll go out there and tape it, State of the Village. A group of volunteers back in 1983. There were 19 of trained members of this group. We're really down to a couple, you know, who really want to do this volunteer work, and I just want to say thank you to Bill Ertman. I'd have him come out here and accept a plaque, but then who would run the camera? That's kind of my concern. But you know, 35 years this August is when the Lamont Community TV Group was formed, and Bill was there from the inception of it. If anybody is willing to volunteer and keep the thing going, Bill's not going anywhere, but he could use a day off every now and then. So we're having a hard time finding volunteers. But if anybody is willing to help out, learn from Bill, it's a good way to, you know, we're doing a lot of cool things with the station. It's not just going on Channel 6. We're also streaming the meetings. They talk about, you know, everyone wants full transparency. This is a project where really we can give people full transparency. We can stream the meetings, put it on our Facebook page. We're kind of coordinating it with some other videos we're doing. We're doing a lot of new business videos. I don't know if anyone had a chance to see our Facebook page. Jason Berry and Linda, they were out interviewing a couple of the new businesses in town, and I think we had, what, 3,000 or 4,000 views after the weekend. 6,000. Sorry, I didn't check here, but so it's a good way to get information out.
Bam.
People don't want to read newsletters; they want to see videos. So I get it. And but if anybody wants to get involved, we have the technology, we have the tools. We'd love to have you work with us to kind of keep the thing going. But again, no thanks, Bill. Bill's not going anywhere. He'll be here next meeting and in the future. But thank you, Bill, for all your hard work and.
Thanks, George.
I do have a picture, actually. We had to go into our history book, and we'll put it online. No, maybe not, Bill, but there's from 1983, there was 19 members, and Bill doesn't look that much different, I'll tell you. So, it's a good thing.
All right. Thanks, George. All right, next up, board reports. Anyone have anything? We good? Staff reports. Mark, Chief.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. It's a little bit early in the month, but since we don't have any more meetings between now and July, I thought it a good opportunity to remind folks of our fireworks ordinance and what our laws are for 4th of July. So it is unlawful for anyone to discharge, set, buy, or sell any fireworks or pyrotechnics in the village. It's against our ordinance. Public exhibitions of fireworks and pyrotechnics may be granted by permit by the village. So please come up to the Park District event on July 3rd. It's a great fireworks display, much better than you can see at your friend's house. A couple statistics. So last year, the National Fire Prevention Association estimated that fireworks caused 18,500 fires, 1,300 structure fires, 300 vehicle fires. They resulted in 11,900 emergency room trips, which I looked at the 2016 stats, and it was just over 8,000. So just in 1 year, they increased by 3,000. 41% of those are injuries to the face or head, and 3 out of every 10 injured by fireworks are under the age of 15. And kind of an interesting stat, the novelty items, which are illegal in Illinois, sparklers, fountains, and other novelties accounted for 25% of the injuries. They've now surpassed cigarettes in statistics causing fires. So please be careful during the holiday weekend. Enjoy the fireworks display. Come on down to the Park District event. Our ordinance is online. There's other safety tips that you can join, look at on the website.
Okay, thanks, Chief. All right. Okay, before we wrap it up, any other unfinished business or new business? Okay, with that being said, we will have an executive session tonight. I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss under Chapter 5 ILCS of the Open Meetings Act 120-2C5 pending litigation. Need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee. 2C11. I'm sorry, okay, 2C11. Okay. All right. Repeat.
Do you still want to make
I'll
the
amend
motion?
my- I'm
Okay, we need a motion for 120-2C11.
Okay.
I'll now make my motion for
Motion
that.
by
Second.
trustee Blatzer, seconded
By
by
Kwasniewski.
trustee
Actually, I don't
Stapleton.
want to go into pending litigation for, or litigation for that one, so.
All right, we need a roll call.
Okay, Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher absent. McClafferty?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Blatzer?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. We do not expect to have any decisions, correct, after executive session. However, of course, we will officially close the public session. So right now, ask everyone to exit the public, and we will have our executive session and open it back up to close it thereafter.
Jason, I found your videos striking.
It's really good. We call him Anderson Cooper.